Good morning, subscribers, and welcome back to another video. Today I got another high growth stock that is at a pretty good valuation that I want to go over today, and what I'm doing, being that this is one of the most recent stocks that I did purchase. So to start off, go ahead and get right into the video, is Trulieve. Today it's at $26.25, which is down, about 50% from its 52-week high, which was about $52. So actually down 50% from the 52-week high. And to go ahead and show y'all what I've done with this stock, the stock's going down, fundamentals are going up. It does have a little bit of drama going on right now about the CEO's husband kind of getting into a little bit of legal trouble, which honestly is not that big of a deal. It's not going to involve the company in any way that I see. So show y'all, put my money where my mouth is. I bought 115 shares at $26.31, and I bought another 10 shares at $26.31. And this brings my position up to 310 shares now of this company. And I hopefully see myself getting over 500 shares of this company. So this is a pretty big, this would be about 10 to 12% of my portfolio as far as how much is weighted. So obviously I have a high conviction in this stock, and as we're going to go over today, they have phenomenal growth rates, plenty of cash on the balance sheet. So without further ado, let's dig a little bit deeper on this stock. And I believe this is my first video of where I'm kind of somewhat going deep on this stock, but not really a full fundamental analysis. So I see this stock both ways. It's a good valuation stock for the amount of growth that they're having. And as further years go on, this stock is going to be a beast as far as growth goes. So today we're paying, well, this was actually screenshotted from yesterday. I think it's down another 2% today. But I'm, slowly buying the dip as it goes down. So $5.11 billion is the market cap. That's what you're paying for this company right now or yesterday. So it'd be like 5.1 billion today, being that's down another 2%. Then you have a price to sales of 4.85. So as you'll see as we get more into this video, a price to sales of 4.85 and a forward PE of 20 on this stock for the amount of growth that it has. And these numbers are actually lower. And I hope this stock continues to go down because I will continue buying the dip. So now to get into a little bit of the fundamentals, one thing that's very important, because you think you're buying a stock, you're actually buying the business. That's a good way to look at it. That's what Warren Buffett always says. And that's who I kind of look for or look up to as far as investing. So total assets of $816 million. All these numbers are in thousands, so they're in millions that we're reading off of. Cash and cash equivalent. So this is how much cash the company has right now, basically just sitting on their balance sheet, 146 million. Then you go over to total liabilities, which is 368 million. So kind of high, but a good thing to look at is current liabilities. This is liabilities that are due, basically that the company is going to have to pay for in the next 12 months, which they have 75 million or basically $76 million of liability. So they almost have double of cash on hand right now as the current liabilities, which is phenomenal as far as a balance sheet goes. One thing that I do want to slowly hit on here is the shares issued. They are issuing a little bit of shares, not really that high in my opinion for how fast they're growing, but all the shares that they're issuing, they're basically taking that money, and as you'll see, they're purchasing more stores. Like they're continuously investing all that money back into the business. So now to get into some of the earnings and revenue that this company has forecasted, or analysts have forecasted for this company. A good thing to point out here, the number of analysts is slowly increasing from 7 to next year. We're looking at about 10 analysts. They have average estimates of $1.41 of EPS, earnings per share, for that year, which in my opinion, I feel like they're going to do over $1.50 in EPS of next year, which we'll slowly get into that as this video continues going by. And by the way, thank you for watching this video. It means a lot to me. Just want to go ahead and state that. So number of analysts for revenue is going to be 16 going on next year. That's what they have estimated. Average estimates for revenue is 1.34 billion. Don't be surprised if that's over 1.5 billion also, because they're beating all of these analysts' expectations for this company right now. And then so they even have on the high estimate of 1.82 billion, which I think is a little bit high in my opinion. So I definitely feel like they can do $1.5 billion next year. And to put that into a perspective, this year that would put them at a 72.9% growth rate for 1 year in revenue. Basically 73% revenue growth. And then going into about 49% revenue growth of next year. So a very, very high growth company. That's at a cheap valuation, in my personal opinion. So on their most recent earnings, analysts were expecting 32 cent per share. They reported 33 cent per share, which is a surprise of about 5%. And then revenue they had expected of 210 million, and they beat that with 215 million. And as you can see for Q1, yeah, they missed on EPS, but this is a high growth business. They're reinvesting all of their earnings back into more stores and stuff like that. So EPS is kind of one of those like secondary things I'm looking at, but I'm really I want to see revenue growth for this company, because EPS will come, that will come next year, 2023, 2024. EPS is going to continue to go up, in my opinion. So they had revenue of 2.43%, surprise on Q1 of 2021. And then as you see here, Q4 2022, EPS beat of basically 40%, revenue beat of 3.5%. Q3 of 2020, they had a revenue beat of 3.5%. So, and analyst expectations are high for this company, and every single quarter, they're beating those expectations. So as you see here, they're continuously basically making more stores. They're really focused on the Florida market, which is really key, and we'll get into that in a little bit later in this video. So the new dispensary, Trulieve's 91st location in Florida, so 91 dispensaries in Florida alone, and Florida is a medical market right now, and I highly expect that to go recreational or quote-unquote adult use market over the next 3 to 5 years. Definitely, probably more so leaning towards 3 years in my opinion, which is going to be another revenue growth driver for this company. So Trulieve will host local food trucks and featured brand partner giveaways. The dispensary will begin serving customers Thursday, September 2nd at 9 a.m. So this business is already open. So something that is happening today that involves this company, which I'm going to be looking at, is coming out in a couple hours, is the September 2021 Investors Conference participation, which is basically where they're going in about the whole Florida market, like what they're seeing in the future, how businesses are doing now. So if you are an individual stock picker, it's good to follow and track your stocks as they progress throughout the years. So Beacon Securities Virtual Cannabis Conference is September 9th. Miss Rivers, which is the CEO, phenomenal CEO, like I cannot speak more highly about her. She's probably one of my favorite CEOs besides Thomas Healy. I will admit I love Thomas Healy. So Miss Rivers is talking about, and that company is highly on, by the way, which I'm sure all y'all know I'm a big fan of. So Miss Rivers is speaking at 1 p.m. and then she's going to go on to speak at 3:45 p.m. And then she's going to be speaking again at the BTIG Virtual Cannabis Conference at basically 1 p.m. Eastern time today also. So as you'll see, the market's growing so fast that analysts can't even keep up with expectations, and we'll get into that right here. The U.S. cannabis industry is now projected to be worth $100 billion by 2030. For reference, in 2019, Wall Street top cannabis analysts, so the tip of the top of the Wall Street that focus in on cannabis companies, predicted it would be 80 billion by 2030. We're already at 80 billion right now in 2021. So that shows like these growth rates are like just piling on top of each other, and they're beating even wild analyst estimates for the market itself. And this is so think, kind of focus your mind of when the US is a fully recreational like Canada or other markets. Like there's such a pent up demand right now, and this business is already here. we're just slowly transferring over from like, the black market to now legal where it's taxed and stuff like that. So that's one good thing to keep in mind. And we're getting to invest in these companies before all these huge hedge funds can, being that it's not legal for them to invest in these companies right now. So now to talk about the Florida market, which is really important for Trulieve, being that this is where they really focus, and they are spreading out to other states, but they're really centralized in the Florida market. This is where they started. This is where they're trying to dominate in. And Florida, in my opinion, is the second most important state besides obviously California. Florida is the most important state, in my opinion, as far as like the growth revenues that I see in the future. So Florida's largest population, the third biggest in the U.S., is a factor of attractiveness to the cannabis market. The state also is the fourth largest economy in the U.S. with gross domestic product, or otherwise known as GDP, of $1 billion in 2020. And that was on a bad year too, as far as, the whole GDP. A 2020 report from ArcView Market Research and BDS analysts showed that U.S. legal cannabis industry is expected to grow 18.2% between 2019 and 2025. And this would be at a reach of 33.9, basically $34 billion. And, keep in mind that these estimates are already getting beat, as we saw in 2019. They'll probably keep getting beat until like 2025, until analysts actually see like how big the TAM, or total addressable market, or total available market, whatever you want to say, actually is for this industry. And as of June 2021, update from Florida's Health Office of Medical Marijuana Use, the state has 570,000 qualified medical marijuana patients and 2,542 qualified physicians. So there's a lot of pent-up demand right now, and these rates, these numbers for medical patients are constantly growing. Florida's patient count is a small percentage of its population, which is 21 million. So think when adult use does hit the market. But it has been steadily growing since the drug was legalized in the state in 2016 for medical use. In fact, the patient figures has more than doubled in the past 2 years alone. So very high growth state. And in my opinion, this whole entire country is a very high growth for this industry. And if you want to, check out the other video that I've done about Planet 13. They're now moving on. They just got licensed in the Florida market. So they're going to be coming up with stores in the Florida market as well. So I hope this gave a good, somewhat of a breakdown on this stock and why I continue to buy this stock as it goes down. I hope it continues going down because I'm continuously going to be adding to my position. Right now, I am starting my own business. So I'm starting to get my LLC, starting to work that side of the business. I'm opening up a landscaping business. It's going to be like a little side job, just like YouTube is for me. I'm trying to grow my sources of income, basically, so I can invest more, focus on, paying off the house, and just overall like financial wealth. And my goal is generational wealth as I continue to age and get older. So I hope you enjoyed this video and kind of showed you why I continue to buy this stock. If you do like these videos and the content that I do provide, it means a lot if you do subscribe. Throw a thumbs up. That way the analytics know, people enjoy my videos. And with that, catch me back on Monday for the next video.